in this video we're going to make a kind of brightness feature for the TARDIS, sort of like an iPhone. It's a weird analogy, but it works. Basically the TARDIS can have different brightnesses, which you can edit. So over here is the brightness control. You can see we were on high brightness. And so, like, we basically, as if we had night vision, we could see everything in full brightness. Now we're on default, and it's just whatever your default settings are set to, which looks a lot more gloomy, honestly. And then third and fourth are actually the same for the moment. When you set your brightness to low, you basically get a blindness effect, so you can only like barely see what's in front of you. And then the last setting, extremely low, currently is just the exact same thing, but I might make it like, I don't know, the darkness effect from 1.19, not sure yet. Obviously this isn't in 1.19, so I can't really do it either way just yet, but yeah, that's really all there is to that. It doesn't really have any effect on anything, it's just a cosmetic thing for the moment, except for when you run out of power. So if I just set my energy to 0, yeah, when you have an energy of 0, your brightness gets set to low, and basically, yeah, you can't get out of it, actually. So like I'm really spamming this repeater. You can see it's kind of moving, but not really, and nothing is happening. And even if we like switched interiors, which the default for the interiors currently is full brightness, but you can see even if we switch interiors, absolutely nothing is happening. It's not changing. But even if I only had like 1 power, so like even if I didn't do like a million there and I just did 1, I can actually get out of it. So yeah, you don't even need like even like a certain amount of power. Just as long as it's not 0, you can have your brightness at full, and otherwise it's pretty much totally customizable. You can have it on any of those 4 settings, or 3 until I get extreme darkness working. So how does this all work? Well, if we come in here, we have little sets of command blocks for each of our 4 options, and then back here this is for when the power is at 0. So let's start here, I guess. So high, obviously, as I said, is the default. So we'll just start with that, even though this one says default, but it just means your default lighting settings in Minecraft. Anyway, the high, basically it's just executing if the block at those coordinates is a repeater on the delay of 1. And if so, this comparator goes off and it does this repeat and needs redstone command block. And this one says executing if the block is on a delay of 1, then it'll effect give at a tag inside. So all players within the TARDIS, it'll give them all night vision for 11 seconds on amplifier 2, and remove particles is on true. So why, this is probably a good question, why is it 11 seconds? Because I could have just had to be 1 second. Well, the problem is with night vision, as night vision goes away, it makes like a flickering effect, and I didn't want the flickering to appear, so I just made it 11 seconds, but that obviously necessitated, in order to, again, remove the effect immediately, that when we go into the next command, it actually does clear the night vision from you. But yeah, default is just execute if the repeater's on a delay of 2, and if so, it just says brightness set to default, and it does nothing except remove the night vision, because obviously we just want it to be your default lighting settings. And then low, obviously they don't have to clear anything from you, because at that point you wouldn't have any effect. Execute if the repeater is on delay 3, and if so, we're going to execute if it's on delay 3, run give, effect give, tag equals inside blindness 2, or for 2 seconds rather, and it's just on 0 amplifier, because I figured out that actually, even if you had more amplifier, it doesn't actually increase the brightness effect, or the blindness rather, which is a little weird, but it's okay. And then obviously just 2 seconds, you can do 2 or 1, really doesn't matter too much. And then obviously brightness set to low. And then finally, extremely low, we have brightness set to extremely low, it says, and clear the original blindness effect. Obviously that only matters if you make this a different effect, like darkness for example, but obviously as I said I haven't. This is obviously just testing if the repeater's on delay 4. And then this command is obviously, as I said, just blindness. And again, I tried to increase the amplifier, but as you saw in the demonstration, it doesn't change whether you have this on 255 or even if you had it on 0. I'll show you the shut off when the power is at 0. This just takes these two command blocks, and I made them on a lever so that they can be kind of an optional thing you could turn off in survival if you wanted to. But these are just execute if score TARDIS energy is less than or equal to min energy. If you'll remember from the power episode, min energy, that is a fake player whose score is set to 0. So basically if it's less than or equal to 0, then it will run effect clear at a tag equals inside, and it will clear their night vision, and then it will also execute if the score is less than or equal to min energy. It will run set block right there. That's the coordinates of the brightness repeater, and it'll set that repeater to delay 4. And obviously this is on repeat, so it'll just constantly have it on delay 4, meaning you can't get it out of the extremely low brightness mode. All of that is constantly going to be active while you have 0 power. So just to demonstrate one last time, we have the default brightness, the low brightness, and the extremely low brightness, which is the exact same, and then we can set it back to high. And even if we turn it to like a low brightness, like I said, the default for interior switching is on high, so if we switch it, it'll say brightness set to high. And of course, if we have 0 energy, then it's constantly set to extremely low. As you can see, we cannot get it out of extremely low brightness, even if we were to switch interiors. But what we need to do is get more power. So once we've done that, we can make our brightness high again. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. This has been the brightness feature for the TARDIS, and the ability to make the power go off when you have no energy. But yeah, I've been Tibo2. Be sure to subscribe, to follow my Instagram, Tibo2IT, to follow my Twitter, which is also Tibo2IT, to join my Discord, and lastly, to have a nice day. Goodbye.